think we're going to try to do a little bit of work on the workbench in the garage.
Nate actually has a brand new client coming in today. It's her first time filming with his videographers and using his strategy. We're gonna be able to make some pretty cool art designs, interior design stuff with all the different square foam pieces we have.
All right, so we opened up these packages of foam squares over a week ago. Some of them have decompressed okay, but a lot of them, like these black ones and blue ones, have not decompressed almost at all. So we're gonna go ahead and try getting them wet, wringing them out, and then throwing them in a dryer on medium heat for 20-ish minutes.
So we tried the foam bath, and look how fluffy those turned out to be. Pretty darn neat. We're gonna go ahead and continue to work on the rest of them. It'll take a hot minute, but we're gonna be able to make some pretty cool art designs, interior design stuff with all the different square foam pieces we have. So let's go ahead and do it.
Okay guys, between running foam baths or bathing the foam squares and then throwing them in the dryer, I think we're going to try to do a little bit of work on the workbench in the garage. So this is a smaller side garage, but we've got some plywood. Oh, this is probably not actually called plywood. I can never remember what it's called. But this is what's going to be the top of our workbench, our work surface. We're gonna move a couple of these over into the large garage. Let's head over there right now and see if we can get started on getting more of the workbench surface. Good morning, beautiful people. Back at the studio house. Nate got us a fun little surprise. Well, he actually told me he got it, but left us some blackout curtains and the curtain rods to go with them. Some of the curtains are going to be going over that set of 3 windows here in this front main living room area of the upstairs here at the studio house, or the main floor. And then we have a blackout curtain and a curtain rod to put downstairs in the room with the forest wallpaper. I took measurements down there for that window earlier this week. All right, we're gonna go ahead, hang up our curtain rod and our black colored blackout curtains over this window. Let's see how it looks. So we got it up. We may need to get one more curtain to make it look as good as we want, so we don't have
light coming out around the edges during clients filming. Okay, so we'll talk to Nate about getting another curtain for us, and we'll get it finished up. So we got all of the foam square tiles and pretty much every single square foam piece decompressed. Even the ones that were like paper thin decompressed, and they're looking pretty good. So we of course ran out of space on the shelf for all the foam, which is okay because pretty soon we're going to be putting them on a wall. Nate actually has a brand new client coming in today. It's her first time filming with his videographers and using his strategy for YouTube. So we're gonna see if we can't get a curtain rod and blackout curtains hung up over these 3 windows behind me before she gets here. Let's go ahead and get it done. There we go. Got it done before she showed up. Even the videographers aren't here yet, so that's a good day.
All right, so we finally got to the point where I've just about got this workbench finished. I was able to get the majority of the OSB laid down, marked out, cut out. So that I could screw it down onto the top of the frame that we built, so that OSB makes the surface of our workbench. This is by no means, I think I've mentioned this before, this is by no means a how-to video. This is simply a DIY experiments channel, so all of our videos are me experimenting with and making things up or figuring things out as I go. But this has come together really nicely. I'm really happy with it. I did end up having to cut a few more support beams, cross beams to put on the frame, so that ends of OSB board that were butting up against each other had somewhere to be screwed down onto, and just once again to create a little bit more support for the surface of the workbench. But like I said, it's come together really nicely. Another thing I ended up doing, I chose to do, was cut 2-inch strips of some of our excess OSB that I could screw into the wall right against the surface of the workbench along the back. So it ended up being kind of like a splashback type deal on that workbench. But really what I put it up there for, so it looks good, but I put it up there to cover up a couple of gaps between OSB and the wall where they didn't match up flushly, and I didn't want us losing nails and screws and other little tidbits here or there in those spaces and just having a heck of a time getting them out. So we've got that all covered up, and it just looks really flush, looks really clean for something kind of hobbled together from leftover lumber from another project. So like I said, all in all, this has turned out really well, I feel like, and it's been a lot of fun.